Another Sunday.
That was scary. I know that Glenn, you told me there's a couple big heavy hitters there in the other rooms, huh?
Yeah.
Like the guy who invented the word Atari.
Yeah, that'd be him, Nolan Bushnell.
Nolan Bushnell.
And it's the history of Atari, and
the history of
also are
Atari
going against the all of the voice and stuff in the Nintendo games. So like Toad and Bowser, and yeah, you got to sit top.
It's a head-to-head matchup Sunday, NFL Blitz style. And he's going to be picking up his teeth for a week. Wow. Well, it's like intimate. It's like being in a living room and then, getting up on the balcony in the living room and going, hey, everybody, look at me. I should just be down there with you. It doesn't seem right that I'm just sitting up here. Go out to the bar and hang out. I'm trying to, first year, how many people were here any of the other times I did this? And you returned pretty good. Like a focus group. That's good. As an old guy, never got into the pitch deck, the computer, the hot chat. Let me go to my pitch deck here. Rhonda, could you help me with that? So, as you guys know, very slow Wi-Fi in here. So we might have a couple gremlins in here, but I'm going to change it up a little bit. I want to give you a couple things that maybe you wouldn't see unless you're like a weird stalker fan. Stuff that I've done that kind of like hides on the internet. Fun stuff that I wanted to do a few years ago was take, when I started to do, well, first of all, I'm just rambling here. You came in here, hi everybody, how are you? It's nice to have everybody in here. I do always feel like with nbajam, it's just like, you come up to the table, we're old friends because obviously, you played the games, whatever, and I feel very comfortable with the group of people that is in here and comes to my table, and I appreciate you guys and love you all. So with that, I just want to keep a real conversation. It's like if you're hanging out at my house, if you're like 15 minutes into it, Curious would go, Tim, I don't think everyone wants to watch all of your videos in here. Can we just talk about something else for a little while and turn the music down because we can't hear? So I have been known to, corral some people when I want to get the response, because it's hard sometimes as a guy who spent a lot of younger years acting, that immediate feedback that we love as performers, right? Glenn's a musician. Really hard to do stuff without the audience. Most of my life, like 98% of my improv and comedy is with my friends and family, and usually was on the job waiting tables, because 40 years of waiting tables, you tend to, whatever job you're in, you got your support team, the guys you're in the trench with, and the only thing that gets you through the brutal, bitter middle management and being pissed on from the top down, as we all know, is just sticking with your friends and having a laugh. That's what the reasons why Office Space, why The Office, why Ricky Gervais, well, of course he did The Office too, Extras, all those kind of things. It's about those places where we work and have to endure. And the laughter that we can have on the job to get us through is the greatest thing in the world. And honestly, some of the bits that I've done, it's like when you're in the middle of the battle, which is restaurant work. You're in the weeds, there's 10 tables going, there's so much pressure on you. Yeah, like the world depends on it. But we all have jobs that have pressure. The waiting world is so much pressure. The idea that you can take all that pressure and let it off, like when you come up to the bar and get your drink and let out your quick little story. The funny thing is, most waiters just come up and they go, so table 75, the guy came in, he was like, I don't like that. The last time I was in, the hamburger wasn't cooked right, and his wife was, I'm like, yeah, whatever, like, get out of my section, bitch. And I go, the end. That waiter story by Stacy. Like, no one wants to hear your waiter story unless there's a twist to it, because we all live that shit every second. So I would come in and do my version of the imaginary world. So what I'm getting to here is I got a new dude, Flip Rimrod, who hopefully he's gonna speak the truth. The Muppet character was presented to me by a couple guys who said, we've been following you for years. I've been in touch with the one guy, and we've tried to do a couple projects together. He said, we're going to do this strategic card game, and we had this idea of you as a Muppet. I'm like, well, okay. It was wild to get, like, we saw you as a Muppet. I love the Muppets, love the Muppets. My son used to, Bert and Ernie all the time. We had the Bert and Ernie dolls. I used to do their voices. So, but they thought, well, I think it should be just your voice and Tim Kitzrow, the Muppet's name, because we want to, draw and people know who you are, and you're going to be the sportscaster host of this strategic card game. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. He doesn't look, well, I know he's supposed to look like me, but he doesn't really look like me. But he's a Muppet. And when you go see anyone on The Simpsons, everybody's voice changes just a little bit. I'm always fascinated with celebrities, how you go, yeah, it's Alec Baldwin, or it's Paul, like, but they sound a little different. And I always wondered, do they coach them? Because there's that little twist. Have you guys noticed that? Celebrities, like, it's their voice, but it's just a little bit different. But anyway, what I'm going to show you, yeah.
Can you demonstrate it?
I'm going to, and actually the cool thing is, the very second they sent me a real Muppet, like $1,000 handmade Muppet to my house. So at this point, I'm still thinking it's going to be, hi everybody, I'm Tim Kitzrow, welcome to Legends of Boom. And when I took him out of the box, I'm going to show you the very first video of him coming out, because you can't plan. You don't like, well, what am I going to do for this voice? You know, it's like the puppet has to tell you. You know, he has to tell you who he's going to be. So you're going to find a couple different iterations of, like, I'm still finding his overall voice, which is like the part of me that wants to do my commentary on society, kind of wise guy, a little under the radar. But I had an improv group in upstate New York years ago, and I was very attracted to that New Jersey and New York kind of character, you know. And so I had a guy his name was Sal DiFrancisco, and he's from New Jersey. He drove the Golden Nugget down to the casinos on the weekends. Hey, turn over there, sweetheart, you're starting to burn. It's a lovely bikini. So that kind of guy. And then I moved to Chicago, and then there was that guy that's, hey, do you ever go out to the museum that's got the two-headed goat out there in Iowa? It's unbelievable. I'm just a regular guy, and this is going to the movies. So you got two different worlds, those dialects. Those characters are kind of stuck in my head, so a little bit of both of them started to go in and out. I almost thought, well, I will have one episode or one comment where I'll go, yeah, I saw the comments today, and someone said, hey, Flip, sometimes you sound like you're from New Jersey, sometimes you sound like from Chicago. Where are you from? Why does it always sound like you're somebody else? Well, the fact is, I'm schizophrenic, and I have multiple personalities, and one of them is a New Jersey bus driver, and the other guy is a hot dog guy from Chicago. Does that explain it? Anyway, with no further ado, let me see if we can find out what's this all about. So this is the very first time Flip showed up out of the box. No, this is not the first time. All right, see. Uh-oh, don't, you know, dirty pictures in there. And actually, there's a fun story behind why I have the dirty pictures in there. And it's all right. He just came out of the box that was on the front step. So, where are you in from? Cleveland area. Oh, Cleveland. That's where you grew up? Yeah, well, just outside of there. Mm-hmm. So, what brings you to my house today? You showed up in a box on the doorstep. Well, a box on the doorstep. Actually, I took the Greyhound. Oh. And they put me in the cargo because it was cheaper in the box. Yeah. So, where are you going to be staying while you're here? Well, I thought I was going to be staying with you. Oh, no. No? Well, that's what Aaron and Joe said. Well, they got it wrong. Oh, I'll have to call them. Well, I'll tell you what, you could stay at this motel. It's about 3 blocks away. It's real cheap. Huh? Yeah, stay at the motel. It's cheap. I don't want to stay at a motel. Well, you gotta stay at a motel. And it's it's cheap, but it's pretty safe. I mean, they haven't had a murder there at all. Oh, this year. Oh, I mean, it's only like, what are we, 2-3 months in? Yeah. January, February, March. Yeah, about two months in. Wow. Okay, so I think I gotta text Joe and Aaron and figure this out. So, where's the liquor kept? No, you're not touching the liquor. I am definitely touching the liquor. So, you supposed to be me? You supposed to be me? Well, that's what they said. You're supposed to look like me, and you don't look like me at all. You got that right. You don't look like me at all either. You look like a freak. You know what? I think I'm going to text Joe and Aaron. Yeah, that'll be a good idea. It's just weird, like the first time they said he pops out. So let's see if I got. This is him with becomes more like the New York wise guy. Hello, my name is Ronnie Cash of Cash and Crash Realty here in Chicagoland in the greater suburbs. Are you looking for a home to buy, but don't have the kind of money it takes to buy a home in these times that we live in? Well, I can't blame you. Or maybe you're looking for a place to rent. I don't know. Maybe it's none of my business. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But maybe you don't have the kind of scratch it takes for that prick landlord to charge you for the first and the last, and then to never fix the things that needs fixing when they need to get fixed. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, well then, maybe you're the kind of person who just wants a place to crash, you know, for a couple, 2, 3 days, maybe, you know, week tops, so things blow over, things, you know, whatever's going on in your life gets a little better, or whatever. No, it's not my business to ask, I don't even know who you are, okay? Well, at that point, then it is my business, because at Ronnie Cash and Crash, I can get you a place to crash, guaranteed, absolutely guaranteed. You got the cash, I guarantee you, I will get you a place to crash. But you gotta have the money in hand. It's none of this like, I gotta wait till 5 o'clock till my buddy gets here. You know, he should be getting here any minute, or I'll get it to you tomorrow latest, or this guy owes me money. No, cash in hand, I will get you a place to crash, okay? You know why? Because I know a lot of people in this town, and they owe me a lot of favors, all right? You know, Louis D'Annunzio, for instance, he owes me 2 large, okay? So if you want, you can crash on his inside porch. It's one of those enclosed inside porches. He's got his old man's lazy boy rocker out there with a convenient blanket right next to the feet. The left side, the arm's all busted up, but the flip-out thing under the feet still works. That's what's important, right? You lean back. Oh, did I mention it's got an ashtray right next to it? Yeah, so you can have the pleasure of smoking while you're sleeping or going to sleep. Well, perhaps you say, I'm not the kind of guy who enjoys that kind of daytime, daylight, sunshine kind of, you know, lifestyle, and I want a little more privacy. Don't worry, I got you covered. He's got an old army cot right next to the washer in the basement. How convenient, you say, right? That's right, because you can wash your filthy, dirty clothes while you're sleeping, right? Okay, well, perhaps you say, I'm not the kind of guy who enjoys being in the basement. I like a little view. I've always fancied myself a high-rise living person. After all, I am in Chicago, the land of where the skyscraper was built and invented. Okay, I understand. No problem. I got you covered. I got a nice, cozy little mattress on the floor up in the attic, right next to where Louie's dead grandmother's sewing machine is. But I know what you're thinking. Don't worry. She's not there anymore. You get rid of her. And if you like a view, oh, I almost forgot. He's got one of the nice little Titanic windows, you know, those little tiny windows you look out, like, you know, look at the ocean. But here you get to see almost the whole alley, almost all the telephone poles, and maybe even a bird. So it's kind of like a nature, you know, like treehouse, you know, living in the country or something. The point is, if you need a place to crash, stop just dreaming about it. Turn your dreams into a reality. Trying to make the reality thing work, but I mean, the words are almost the same, right? I mean, I think they're even spelled the same. Who knows? Anyway, the point is, you give me a call today. You know what? Not today. I got stuff to do. I got some things to do. Call me tomorrow, but not before noon, all right? Not before noon. And what do I look like? An 8th grader at church camp? I don't get up at the crack at 10 a.m. Crying out loud. Yeah, call me and, you know, set you up. This is, Ronnie Cash, Cash and Crash. Louise? There you go, this Ronnie Cash. So, actually, I made him think that was more of the Chicago guy, right there. So let's see what Flip now sounds like. This is the new Flip. Oh, but I'm sorry, I got distracted looking at I was gonna ask how many sick days you can get in a row without a doctor's note, but I'm sorry, I got distracted looking around this very fancy office. A view of the city, the brandy decanter, and I was drawn to this picture on your desk here of your beautiful daughter. Is she a professional beauty queen or work at Hooters or something like that? No? Well, she could. I'll bet she'd clean up in the tips department. What? No, you're joking. That's your wife? Wow. Well, good for you. I mean, you know, if I saw you at the hotel bar with her 6 or 7 scotches under your belt, some toilet paper on your shoe, your hand on her knee, I definitely would not have thought she was your daughter. But has she taught you how to speak Russian yet? Well, I don't know. I just assumed you got her from Russia. That they specialize in teenage brides like her for guys like yourself. I do have another question, though. Are those her real, you know what? That's probably a little bit too forward on a job interview, but we'll find out one day, won't we? None of my business. Can I have one of those cigars? I was going to ask how many sick days. So there you go. So I've seen a little bit of the evolution of Flip. So what we're hoping is that we get a following that we can both bring you in, hopefully, because Flip is, it's going to entertain you, give you a laugh, but then to the strategic card game, which is a really cool game. And as far as I know, people who play those kind of strategic card games, if you want to come over later, and it's on Steam also, you can go check out some of the gameplay. Really cool weapons and packs. You collect packs. We'll keep doing updated new packs, whatever, different locations. But it's really fun. So that's what happened to me since I was here last year. Being a indie company, not much of a marketing budget. That's why, coming to the show, I'm like, just tell all your friends. I love the idea of grassroots. Spread your word, spread the word. If it works, it works. Hopefully next year I'll be here with a smaller Muppet, and I'll be signing as Flip instead of Tim. The other cool thing that happened to me this year was NBA superstars. So Raw Thrills, the guys I did the panel with yesterday, Eugene Jarvis and George Kitzrow, they're the guys from Original Williams who did all, Narc and Total Carnage, Defender. You know the names in the games probably more than I do, and both worked on Jam, just because all those guys worked together. So even if they weren't directly on the original team, they were responsible for all those great games. So they have kept the arcade alive, really, like the biggest, best company that when you go into Dave & Buster's, it's Raw Thrills and Play Mechanics. So they came to me and said they've got a new NBA licensed game, and for whatever reason they could not get the NBA Jam license. EA Sports is still holding on to it for whatever reason. So, but they've made a game that is, I think I might have a picture of that here, that has a 75-inch monitor and gigantic PlayStation. So very, very, very cool. Let's see here. And this is out at Dave & Buster's right now, so if you guys have a Dave & Buster's in your neighborhood, that's what it looks like. And after, I think, the next month or two, they're going to have a 55 or 47-inch screen available for arcades, because it's just too big, the Dave & Buster's set, for a normal bar or arcade. And these big guys are like $15,000 right now. But what a great thing to 31 years after Jam, the same, as I said, DNA, the two of the legends in the business doing this game for a new generation to have their teams, all the current NBA teams. So what a thrill. You have Bookend, and then another guy that used to be with the Midway, Valley Williams. He is the president of Aristocrat Games that does all the big casino games. He brings the licensed games like Big Bang Theory, Wheel of Fortune, so many others. So he got a deal done with the NFL. This is crazy, the world we live in with gambling and sports, right? All of a sudden, now it's not only like okay, but the leagues are buying in. The NFL signed a deal to have a casino with all rights to the NFL, all players, names, and teams, and I'm the voice he chose me for. So it's kind of like taking NFL Blitz to the casinos, and he said, hey, Tim, we realize like all the guys in there have probably one point or another, of a certain age played NFL Blitz, and they're going to hear that voice. So I've got an NFL and NBA thing to update. So it's nice to be now kind of back at 65 years old, be part of a new generation. I mean, how many people who had a music hit in '93, one-hit wonder, a TV show that was hot for a season? It's kind of what it felt like with Jam, like oldies act, touring act, all on nostalgia. It's nice to have current material out. As a musician, how many musicians could put out a new record 30 years after the fact, and then it's received and well received. So. Really a big thrill, and New Football League is the other title I'm in the middle of, and if you guys followed that, the original '93 Sega game, it was a Saturday morning cartoon. The creator of the game was with EA Sports for years, and they kind of left that title on the shelf, didn't really push it, never went anywhere, so he left, and he said, I'm going to redo it, and we did it in 2017 or 2018. It's not on this poster. Anyway, it's a great game, but his dev team, like 6 people, all run the Ukraine and have been trying to make a game during war and just trying to keep their loved ones safe. A couple of them were able to sneak out, came to Chicago, he put them up. He's going broke trying to support his team, and at the last minute, because of that, he had to delay for now a whole year. We were going to release at the beginning of the football season, so the New Mutant Football League will now be the next year. But the other great thing is that title allowed me to create 3 characters, do all the writing and do all 3 characters, and now Flip Rimrod, all the writing, the characters. So just it's the full circle is that my journey from classical stage acting to the Second City, the improv when I was younger, is coming out to pay dividends because all the things I wanted to do, create character, right? It's like, that's what Steve Carell does. All those guys, Tina Fey that were at Second City when I was there, they created, 30 Rock, and they create these characters. So hopefully, I get a second win, and I do hope that Flip takes off. I just love the idea that I've been just a voice, just seen and not, or heard and not seen, but the idea that now there's an actual guy. it's pretty exciting for me. It's like, for me, it's like, being a Pixar movie or my Saturday mornings watching cartoons. I got a guy Flip, and I hope that, a few years from now, the way people will come up and tell me how much fun and enjoyment, my other games around me, that their kids will go, oh no, Flip's, no, he's too adult. I don't want the kids watching him. But they're like, Flip gave me a smile. Like, and I hope that people realize that I wasn't just a sports guy. And I love the attention that it's given me. It was definitely, my breakout thing. But those of you who stop by my table or know my past, it was basically pinball was the majority of my titles. And then the sports games just kind of showed up in '93, like 4 years after I'd done 15 pinball titles, which were all cartoony voices and like, wow, blow me down, it's the sea hag. Oh, let's sleepy go. Or Twilight Zone, or Attack from Mars. Return to the battlefield, soldier. We're gonna build a blaster and blast them aliens. So my whole beginning was just crazy cartoon voices and this and that and who done it, and so it's once again it's a full circle with both the bookend of the sports games, but getting back to Flip being more of a cartoon, and who was I asked this question I think last year. Who has a favorite Saturday morning cartoon from growing up? What are a couple? Because I'm just trying, obviously different age groups out here. Anybody like favorite cartoons and that maybe even still watch? Transformers. How about like the Saturday morning, like the Looney Tunes or the older ones like that? Just the crazy comedy and slapstick. Those were my go-tos. And Fractured Fairy Tales, which is Bullwinkle, Underdog. Yeah. Simon Barnes in the church says underdog must die. Those kind of ones. So another question I asked last year, what would be your ultimate Saturday morning cereal and like comfort cereal, sitting on the couch, and what would you be watching? Just a random, I like this question. What do you got, Sebastian? What do you got over there?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Huh?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. All right. I got the Apple Jacks. I'm going Apple Jacks. Anybody ever put half and half on their cereal? Do yourself a favor. Buy yourself a carton of half and half. And any cereal you've ever enjoyed, put a little half and half on it. At this point, I want to play one more little guy here. What do we got here? When Game of Thrones was on, I watched one of their big battle festival, and I thought it would be fun to hear the NBA Jam in a kind of a mashup. So let's see what happens here.
Welcome to TOT Jam Fry Festival on Fire Edition. Tonight's matchup, the forces of the living take on the White Walkers. But first, the opening torch lighting ceremonies with the Red Witch. She's heating up. She's on fire. And who doesn't love a good parade? First up, the Burning Man Marching Band, all the way from Black Rock, Nevada. Aria and Salsa there on the viewing stand, taking in the show. From downtown Winterfell, it's Happy Hour, where shots of Fireball are on the house all night long. Kaboom! Oh, it's a party up in here now. Fryfest celebrity DJ Daenerys in the house says it's time to drop the bass and spit some fire. Boomshakalaka! DJ short for Dragon Jockey. A busy weekend in Winterfell. Doors open 6 a.m. for the Black Friday coffin sale. The first 300 through the door with the promo code will receive a free burial. Ho, ho, ho! Man, talk about getting fried. It's Fryfest promoter Billy McFarland, and he is completely baked. And apparently loving it, as he watches his festival predictably go down in flames once again. Way to go, Billy. Big man and giant douchebag guarding the paint. FYI, IYF. That's in your face with the facial. Kaboom! Billy might want to get out of here. Fans are not happy. Angry Fryfest ticket holder Aria from downtown. Rejected.
Uh-oh, not good.
Aria with the dagger. The nail in the coffin. Boomshakalaka. Now that's how you shatter a backboard. Then whole lot of fun to watch. This has been Tim Kitzrow for NBA Jam saying, see you next week for GOT Jam Finals Edition. Boomshakalaka.
So it's hard to say. When you blow up, when you blow it up on the screen, very dark. But if you see it, with a good resolution, very fun. And it was like a guy who just reached out as a fan at an improv club in Chicago, and he said, "I do video editing. Let's do something together." And I just saw that, and I called, "Would you be willing to do that?" Because I could never have done the editing and splicing. Love it. And I wish I had a platform. And once again, getting back, like if this takes off, my idea would be have possibly a YouTube show where he's the talk show host. So like Space Ghost, I could do stuff, create my own videos, like in talk show hosts, like Conan or whatever. Like here's my little bit, here's my little send up of this, but then invite other celebrities in. They can either be themselves, or we could create a Muppet avatar for them. But it would give me a place to do shorts, to do little comedy things with other people, which would be great. The idea for that came from, well, does anybody here know the title Rage? Rage 2, the shooting, first-person shooter game? Well, they reached out to me and they said, we have this idea to try to do an early sales. If you do an early buy, you're going to get Tim Kitzrow voice pack On Fire edition. So Rage 2 On Fire with Tim Kitzrow. But you only get it if you ordered it early. But it was so cool to suddenly see that juxtaposition of a shooter game like Pow Pow Puppy Chow, that's gonna stick from downtown, nailed them, that's, all that shit. It was just great to see it because the game is really, really like visually like so striking and realistic. For the first time to go from that animated 90s NBA Jam court to see that. You might know way back when someone put together a mashup of my voice with Mortal Kombat also, finish him! But it said like, the nail in the coffin! It's just, at the buzzer. So I've always loved the juxtaposition, and I mentioned this the last couple times I spoke. The NBA has been a really great place for me over the last few years in that the Golden State Warriors reached out during their championship run and had me do highlights, roundups of each the semifinals or whatever, and all the way to the finals. So each round of the playoffs. So I did that, and then I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to take it out of even basketball and do something like that? So here's one of the Houston Rockets. Let's see. Let's do one NBA Finals. This is the Warriors. We'll probably have to watch a commercial here together for a second. It was the perfect timing with Curry. Like, what's shit?
This is a cluster.
Welcome to Dub Jam. Get your final quarters ready to play the NBA Finals Edition finale. Razzle dazzle, get that stuff out of here. Chef Curry serves up a little dunk flambe to McGee.
Clear for takeoff.
Boomshakalaka. What's for breakfast? Snap, crackle, and pop. Cavs serial killer Steph Curry. Curry to Durant.
Have a seat. Be with you in a minute.
Boom. Do you promise to love, honor, and dunk on this rim as long as you both shall live? Boomshakalaka. I now pronounce you Mr. Boomshakalaka. You may now kiss the rim. Meanwhile, on the playground, it's the little dude versus big dude one-on-one classic. Little dude with ball. Big dude looks like he's trying to swat a fly. As little dude flies high and by, little dude wins. You reap what you sow, so the Slim Reaper would sow this dagger into the hearts of the Cavs, reaching championship gold. Honeysville Championship, DUB, dunking unbelievable. The nail in the coffin. For all you Dub Nation gold diggers and trophy hunters, meet your new sugar daddies and world champs. The Warriors have won back the trophy and put the gold back in Golden State where it belongs. I'm Tim Kitzrow saying, see you next year. Boomshakalaka.
Yeah, that was fun, and I did one for the Houston Rockets too. So it's just been a crazy ride. I guess I wanted to tell some stories, but I want to show some videos for the first time. So if you guys, dig any of this stuff, please, find me on the socials. Let me know what you think about Flip. Share with your friends, because I think I've got like 20 of his fake job interviews out already. But now I just want to. I'm sure you guys have a couple questions. You want to do that? So. Unless we want to just scroll for a while, because class is over in about 10 minutes. You guys can take us. One of the thrills of just coming here each year is seeing the younger and younger kids more and more familiar with my games. you'd think it would be the opposite. You know, I'd be more and more forgotten the older I get, but so many dads are just turning their kids on, and it's just such a thrill to see that new generation come by. So does anybody here know the MLB Slugfest game that I did, the baseball game? That's another really good game. And we were talking with some folks at the NBA about how NBA Jam was kind of a recruiting tool. They didn't even realize it. They thought that the company needed to pay them to use the NBA license, and all of us that involved with Jam, including Mark Trammell, the creator, realized it could go the other way because we probably did more benefit for the NBA than vice versa. In a way, I mean, obviously without their product, but what they never really realized is they recruited people around the globe with NBA Jam, and the way you look at it is Joe Camel was a cartoon camel that smoked cigarettes, and you're trying to get kids smoking early, thinking about smoking's fun. Well, most 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds are not going to sit for a Sunday afternoon and watch a 2-hour NBA game, but they will play NBA Jam for 2 hours, So that was happening, and back then with no internet, how do you know the Dallas Mavericks, San Antonio, Indiana Pacers? If they weren't the Celtics, the Lakers, the Bulls, whatever, those few teams, you don't know basketball. So NBA Jam taught people every team and every big player, but also these weird, obscure minor players that they would have never known, once again, because of no internet. So they were helping build the fan base for years and years and years. And a comment I get from people all the time is, I started playing basketball because of NBA Jam. I found the NBA and fell in love with it because of NBA Jam. I wasn't a sports fan, but I loved NBA Jam. So right now the NBA is working on a new NBA AI tool to get this, turn a real live basketball game in real time into NBA Jam animation as you're watching. Wow. It will look like 1993 pixelated basketball. And my voice will be, the AI will be able to read 2 in a row, 3 in a row, he's shooting up, the classic lines based on, the computer reading it.
I'm wondering if you have had any NBA players that have approached you and were excited to meet you when they realized you were the Boomshakalaka guy.
Yeah, the biggest one for me was Steve Smith. I was still waiting tables, working in a restaurant, and he came in doing one of the tournaments in town. And my friend went over and said, hey, that guy, that's the Boomshakalaka guy, NBA Jam. And Steve Smith got up from his table, walked over while I was at the bar, and he said, oh man, are you really the guy at NBA Jam? I was like, yeah. He goes, my sons and I were just playing the NBA Jam last night. And it just blew my mind. I said, what, Sega, Nintendo, I didn't even know the games. I was just, nervous making talk. And he goes, no, on the arcade cabinet, man. This is before the arcade went up. He said, you have a real cabinet? He goes, yeah, that's what they gave us for being in the game. Something I never knew. That's what the players were paid. They never got a monetary share. And that's probably why Michael Jordan never opted in, because a Players Association agreement, I'm sure there was some money that went into the Players Association, but they didn't get an actual check. And Jordan was thinking, why should I get into a game that's going to make $1 billion of revenue for whoever? Mostly mobsters, right? Because it's all coin op. The coin guys made the money. Midway shipped out the hard drive, and it was the coins. It was yeah. Anyway, so that was a cool story. And then a few years ago, I did the All-Star game in Cleveland, and I was brought in for a Mick Ultra Jam weekend where they made Mick Ultra Jam beer for that limited weekend with all my expressions, with digitized characters on the cans. They made a highlight NBA Jam video with Drexler, Worthy, Mutombo, and Wilkins, which I voiced. And then they had them come in to sign autographs, and then they said, hey, tomorrow, Worthy and Drexler coming upstairs on the main stage. I want you to interview them. I was like, yeah. I got to do big NBA Jam intros for them. From the University of No to Kembe Mutombo. Have a seat. The Block Doctor will see you now. And just had the time of my life. And then the next day, Dominique and Dominique and Mutombo, and then Worthy and Drexler the first day. So it blew my mind. They knew the game. Some of them were in the original flyer. They're in the game, but those guys, they said honestly, they weren't playing. Shaq, the younger players were playing in '93, so they were a little bit older. But they said they always got a kick out of it. They all said their kids always played it. They knew of its legendary status, which they didn't really pay attention to back then. As I said, didn't give them any money. But what a thrill to make them laugh, to do an intro like making Wilkins laugh. And then he takes out his phone, because I'd asked him, I said, when did you first dunk and what was that like? He was like, dude, he goes, I was like 5'6". He goes, I was small for a long time, like in high school. And he said, one time I came down the court and he goes, and then, I don't remember if he said, and I made the basket and I'm running back up the court and the ref says, he's like blowing his whistle. I said, what? He goes, you got fouled on that dunk. And he goes, I dunked it? It was like, it was so like out of his mind that he didn't even realize he had adrenaline. But to hear him tell that story like a kid again was so much fun. And then he goes, here's my son now, look at him, look how big, look at him play. So yeah, it's been a great ride. And once again, unless you guys have any more questions, let's go out and party. Yeah.
Hey, sorry if you get asked this all the time.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with Boomshakalaka?
I didn't. I should mention quickly too, Vice TV, if anyone's ever seen anything on Vice TV, they stream on different platforms or on Hulu. They just did a 1-hour documentary on NBA Jam. They're doing a 12-part series called The Real Stories of Basketball. Great stories. Pete Maravich about the bad boys, the Pistons. But the third episode is all NBA Jam. I'm heavily featured, fortunately, because I get to tell my kind of definitive story. Mark Trammell, Sal DeVita, John Carlton. John Carlton came up with Boomshakalaka. So to just answer your question, I'll tell you his, the story, which I didn't realize for years, but it's really nice to check out Vice TV, NBA Jam. He was, another sound guy was down the hall. He's got his headphones on, he's listening to Sly and the Family Stone. I wanna take you higher. Boomshakalaka, boomshakalaka, bow down now. It was Boo Shakalaka. There's no M, just Boo Shakalaka, Boo Shakalaka. And he kind of thought he heard boom, and he just leaned out his office door and he goes, hey, John, who came up with the music, the great soundtrack for NBA Jam. He goes, tell Tim to say Boomshakalaka. I'm in the booth, the headphones on. He goes, hey, Tim, say Boomshakalaka. And I went, what the fuck is Boomshakalaka? Because I feel like I know basketball lingo. I've watched TV. I've never heard that. What? And he goes, what, John? He goes, Boomshakalaka. No, say Boomshakalaka. And I'm like, did I get it right? And I went, Boomshakalaka. He goes, give me a couple more. Boomshakalaka. All right, moving on. That was it. It was an accident. But the word, if you Google the search, there are so many different variations that you don't know what's what. There's a Caribbean or a reggae song, I think from the 50s that had Boomshakalaka. So it just showed up again, and then Tina Turner did something with Boomshakalaka, I think 69. So you told me that, Glenn.
It was a female group of sort of. I don't think it was Tina, but it was. I had never heard of them, and I listened to it. And I was like, wow, they actually said Boomshakalaka, and it was like in the late '60s.
Yeah, and Tina Turner did say it in one of her songs. But anyway, crazy, huh? Crazy. And now it's part of the whole American lexicon. Like people just say it for anything. It's a great meme. There's one with Leonardo DiCaprio from his Wall Street one or whatever that one was. He's like Boomshakalaka. Anyway, great to see you guys. Thanks for coming out. I've got free Flip Rimrod things I'll sign for anybody afterwards. You want to come up, or if they're not using this room, or otherwise go back to my table. So awesome to see everybody. Yeah.
Can you do the He's on Fire?
He's on fire. High five, brother. All right. Yeah, it's been great to come back to Portland. How many people are from the Portland area? Any hikers? Anybody been up to Mount Hood River, Salmon River area? So last year I got to do a 10-day extended stay with my family. Got a big family, 5 brothers, 2 sisters. Most of us made it. We grabbed a ski lodge in the Mount Hood little river valley. The price is off season. This thing was one of an Aspen place, nightly. I guarantee you would have been $1,500 a night. Easy, probably more. It was $350 a night, 400. And you walk outside, fire pit, you see the river, hear it rushing, a jacuzzi or a hot tub sitting right up the bank from the river. So you could do the hot, then go into the cold water, and hiked up, went to Mount Hood Lodge, which is one of the most mind-blowing pieces of architecture. You just, the size, the gravitas, and knowing that it was all built by hand. When you see the pictures during that, what was the labor thing that was Wilson? Who was in office at the beginning? The Depression, but it's putting America back to work. It was part of that, CCC, whatever. But every single thing was built on site. Of course, all the lumber. blacksmiths, all the iron, actually like the curtains, the bed sheets, everything, they loomed, they had women making stuff. It's really one of the wonders of the world. So we had this great time. I love Portland. I love the Northwest. You guys are all very lucky to live here. I know I've not had to endure the the long rain and darkness, but it's not that bad, is it? That's what video games are for. And that's what drinking's for. And all that other stuff. Well, great to see everybody. You got one more question? Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious, like, you have this game here that you coming out with. I was curious what voices you did for this game. I mean, I keep seeing it. I want to know more about it, so I'm really curious.
Well, as I said, the best way right now, you can go to, when you go to @Flip Rimrod, and I said I'm going to sign these guys for you, follow them on socials, but then there's a link to Steam, and Steam has a little bit of the gameplay and a little bit better description, and as it rolls out, there will be more and more information and everything else, so hopefully that will be forthcoming. Right now, I just want to get you in and have some fun and get to know Flip, and if you like having fun doing. Anybody play card-based games? Yeah. What are a couple of the titles that you played? Just curious, because I don't know anything about these games at all. Clash Royale.
Well, yeah, this is like a Magic the Gathering style thing, is what it.
Okay. Yeah. The artwork is amazing in this, and this AI tool. This is the first time anyone's used it in a video game, as far as we know. They created the technology to do all hand-done animations by the artists. They feed hundreds and hundreds of all of Flip's movements into the AI tool that then reacts to the timbre, the dynamics, the pacing of my voice to do the appropriate movements. And it's not perfect Pixar, but think of what we're doing here. We're going from maybe taking dozens of artists, hundreds of hours to do simple little things. It's instantaneous. The second I speak into the microphone, it can be live anywhere in the world with him reacting. So what we want to do is, I was trying to bring in the Angry Video Nerd for a promotional clip to work with him. I'd seen him in a show a few years ago. He said he was a fan. I reached out, I said, we can make an avatar for you. We actually did, that he can be another Muppet as the Angry Video Nerd, and we do a thing together. Well, now he's gotten so big that I had to go through his management team, email, and I said, hey, met James a few years ago. He said he'd love to do something, to have me on for an interview. I've got a better idea. We can offer him, told him the whole thing, goes to nothing. Like, they're not interested because they didn't see any money coming in. But the idea that even is like, and I was sent some stuff. I'm not going to try to pretend like I'm such a big shot, just my name. So I sent my link to my website. I'm Tim Kitzrow, the voice of me. But like, to get nothing, that's weird. Has anybody ever seen his videos?
Yes.
Yeah, like the Macaulay Culkin one or whatever. I mean, it would be great. It's like, it would be good for both of us. Like, we could, do some comedy together, and the idea that he could be a Muppet and that he could have that forever. Like, he could have that as another tool to reach out to people and do stuff. So anybody sees him, runs into him, tell him I'm looking for him. All right, come on up and grab an autograph. I think they got another thing. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and here are a few more videos for you to check out.